Oh, my goodness, fellow Chicago Fire fanatics, can we just take a moment? Because if you're anything like me, your heart was doing some serious gymnastics during that season 13 final. I mean, between Herman's incredible gesture for Mouch, seriously, that man's a legend, and the absolute bombshell that Stella and Kelly are expecting. Yes, you read that right, expecting. It felt like a giant group hug from our favorite Firehouse 51 family. We were practically floating on cloud 9, right? Celebrating every triumph, every hard-won battle, every moment of pure joy. And you knew there was a but coming, didn't you? Because Chicago Fire always knows how to hit us with a plot twist that leaves us both gasping and, let's be real, slightly heartbroken. While we're still basking in the glow of those amazing reveals, there's a little whisper of worry creeping into our celebrations. And that whisper, my friends, is about the future, specifically season 14. You see, amidst all the happy tears and celebratory high fives, there's a looming shadow. Our beloved Firehouse 51, the place we've come to know and love like a second home, is about to feel a little bit emptier. Prepare yourselves, because Chicago Fire Season 14 is going to be saying goodbye to two of its series regulars. Yes, you heard me correctly. Two. Apparently, budget cuts are the grim reaper of our favorite shows, and they've come for our very own. First up, we're losing Ritter. Poor Novak. Remember how we just saw her finally getting a roommate, a friend, a sounding board. And now, poof, he's gone. It feels like a cruel joke, doesn't it? Just when things were looking up for her, she's back to flying solo. But honestly, as tough as Ritter's departure will be, it pales in comparison to the emotional gut punch that's coming for his Ambo 61 partner. And if you've been paying any attention to the whispers, or just have a sixth sense for impending TV drama, you know exactly who I'm talking about. We need to talk about Sam Carver and Violet Mikami. Can we all just collectively sigh? Because their journey, their dance around each other, has been one of the absolute highlights of season 13. Remember the awkwardness after Tori left, the unspoken tension that practically crackled between them. We all knew it, deep down in our fan-loving hearts, that this wasn't just a friendship. This was a slow burn, a simmering pot of undeniable chemistry just waiting to boil over. And boy, did it ever. The season 13 final finally gave us what we've been craving, practically begging for. A kiss. Not just any kiss, but the kiss. And then, the confession of love. My heart soared. It was long overdue. A triumph against all odds, especially considering Carver's struggles with his drinking problem. That issue, bless his heart, caused so much chaos, so much pain, from Violet getting attacked to him going into treatment. But they fought through it. They faced their demons, and it felt like, finally, they were on solid ground, ready to build something beautiful together. But here's the kicker, the truly cruel twist of fate that only Chicago Fire seems capable of delivering. It couldn't have happened at a worse time. Seriously, the timing is so bad it's almost comical, if it weren't so tragic. Here's the cold, hard truth, the one that's been circulating and making our stomachs drop. Jake Lockett, our beloved Sam Carver, is leaving the show in season 14. He's joining Daniel Kiri, Ritter, as one of the characters making an exit. The truly agonizing part, we don't know how his departure will play out, especially now that he and Violet have finally, gloriously, admitted their feelings for each other. The final left us hanging, with neither Carver nor Ritter formally departing. It's like they wanted to give us a sliver of hope, only to yank it away. Now, his exit was strongly hinted at throughout the final, wasn't it? Firehouse 51 hasn't exactly been Carver's happy place recently, and we saw him planning a fresh start, a transfer to Denver. Then, in a moment that made us all lean forward in anticipation, after reading Violet's heartfelt letter, he seemed to have a change of heart, deciding to stay in the Windy City for her. The beautiful romantic gesture, right? Except, his departure as a series regular was confirmed weeks before the final aired. Talk about a punch to the gut. It would be absolutely brutal for Violet, wouldn't it? To finally get her happy ending with Carver, only to have him choose Denver over her anyway. Imagine the heartbreak. All that emotion, all that vulnerability she poured into that letter, only for it to fall short. And while we, the ever-hopeful fans, might want to believe that the departure announcement was a cunning ploy to make their love confession a surprise, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there are far too many reasons to suspect this is truly the end of Sam and Violet's love story. As much as we'd love to see Mikami and Carver settle into a long-term loving relationship, the circumstances just don't seem to allow for it. There's this thing in storytelling called shipping death. It's what happens when a couple finally gets together, and all the dramatic tension that comes from the will they or won't they is gone. Suddenly, how do you keep the relationship interesting? And sadly, our dear Sam and Violet are prime candidates for this unfortunate phenomenon. Think about it. Aside from Mouch and Trudy, who we barely see together, the most stable couple on Chicago Fire is Kid and Severide. Their journey post-wedding has been about tackling big life decisions, like parenthood. Watching Carver and Mikami walk the exact same path wouldn't feel new or exciting. The most compelling part of their story, the will they won't they, ended the moment they spoke their affections aloud. With that major arc resolved and Carver's recovery seemingly under control, where else is there for his character to go? It feels like the only door left open is the exit. Carver's departure could easily become one of the most heartbreaking exits in the entire One Chicago universe. Instead of him choosing to stay, we're faced with the devastating reality that he and Violet might end up single anyway. Of course, there's always a glimmer of hope, a tiny possibility that he could simply quit Firehouse 51, but stay in Chicago and continue his relationship with Violet off-screen. But without any information about him returning in a recurring role, it's hard to imagine that. And if he doesn't appear in Season 14 at all, even a happy off-screen ending would feel incredibly unsatisfying for us, the viewers who have invested so much in their journey. The absolute best-case scenario would be for Carver to at least make an on-screen appearance to formally establish his exit. But even then, anything less than a grand, tearful goodbye party would feel like a tragedy. They've barely had any good, solid screen time together as a couple. Whether he tragically dies on a call or actively chooses to leave Violet after that kiss, Chicago Fire has an enormous task ahead of them if they want to write off Carver in a way that feels satisfying and respectful to his character and, more importantly, to Violet's story. So, my friends, while we cherish those gleeful moments from the Season 13 final, it might be wise to brace ourselves. Prepare for the possibility of seeing Violet in much lower spirits than we left her. Because sometimes, even in the world of our beloved Firehouse 51, happy endings are just a little too good to be true. Let's hold on to hope, but keep our tissues ready, just in case.